Hi, I'm Dr. Kharrazian. I want to talk to you about why many patients that have hypothyroidism just don't feel better when they go on thyroid replacement. Now, I will say there are definitely a very noticeable response in many patients where they have a honeymoon phase when they first go on replacement, that they notice that their energy levels improve, that their hair falling changes, that their gastrointestinal motility improves, and for overall they start to feel better. But this honeymoon phase, typically for most patients that suffer from hypothyroidism, only lasts for a few weeks and then go back to their initial symptoms. And recent research has really shown that when patients that are hypothyroid and have Hashimoto's, which is the majority of hypothyroid patients, go on replacement, the initial effect on replacement is that it calms down the inflammatory autoimmune response for a few weeks. So that the benefit that many of these patients are actually getting that's noticeable to them, of them feeling better, may really be this autoimmune quenching response. Now, once they get past this honeymoon phase, the autoimmune response creates this inflammatory cascade throughout their body, and these inflammatory reactions from Hashimoto's have the ability to impact receptor sites. So thyroid hormones will only have an effect on the metabolic rate if they can bind to a receptor and then induce a genetic expression or a single transduction response where then you have proteins develop that impact metabolic rate. Well, inflammatory cytokines have been shown to disrupt this pathway. So what happens with many patients that have Hashimoto's, their inflammatory autoimmune cascade continues despite the fact they're on taking replacement. When they take replacement, which is very appropriate for them to do, they do have some benefits from that without question. However, they don't really feel the effects of it because their underlying inflammatory response decreases the effect of these hormones on the receptor sites. So one of the things that we have clinically found over the past 20 years is when we take patients and just calm down their autoimmune and inflammatory response using dietary, nutrition, and lifestyle interventions, we see a dramatic impact in how they respond to their existing hormones and how they feel a lot better. And one of the key things to understand is that when you're dealing with Hashimoto's, that the autoimmune inflammatory response can impact the receptors, and it can also impact the conversion of T4 to T3. There's an enzyme in the body called 5-deiodinase, and this enzyme can be downregulated by the inflammatory cascade of autoimmunity too. So the combination of inefficient conversion of T4 to T3 or T3 receptor site resistance or impaired signal transduction really create a reason why, unless you manage the autoimmune portion of Hashimoto's or hypothyroidism, you would really expect less than ideal clinical outcomes. We're going to be going over all these concepts in the Kharrazian Institute course on Hashimoto's called Hashimoto's Clinical Strategies and Treatment Applications. Hope that you can attend the course.